When getting off the cruise ship in port, you have several options. First, you can book an excursion with the cruise line. Second, you can book a third-party excursion. Third, you can freestyle and wander around at your leisure. What's best for you? It depends. Hey y'all, I'm Ashley with All Bodies Travel. I'm a longtime plus-size traveler and a travel advisor. I'm here to share my knowledge of travel, cruises, and cruise excursions with you. So first of all, why book an excursion? What's the point? Well, first of all, it's guided. Transportation is included usually, so you don't have to figure out how to get a cab or where to get a cab, where to rent a car, where to rent a moped, none of that stuff. You don't have to worry about it. It's handled for you. Third, you know what you're going to be doing. You know exactly what to expect. You know you're going on a four-wheeler through the jungle, or you're going on a sightseeing tour of Curacao. And finally, you'll get to see the highlights of the port. Depending on what kind of excursion you do, you'll get to see something really cool. Most excursions let you see something really cool. So the first option is to book an excursion through the cruise line itself. What are the advantages of this? Well, first of all, the biggest one is they'll wait for you if you're late. If for any reason your excursion is running late, the ship will wait for you to get back. My husband and I went to Costa Maya last year and went on an excursion to see the Mayan pyramids. And it was an 8-hour excursion. It was literally the whole time we were in port, we were on the excursion. And we were some of the last people to get back on the ship. But we knew that if the bus broke down or there was any kind of delay because of traffic or whatever, we knew that we would be getting back on the ship that day. Another reason to take a cruise line excursion is everything's prearranged. Like I said, you don't have to worry about transportation. You don't have to worry about where you're going. You don't have to worry about researching where you're going because you can look at the excursions that the cruise line has on offer and pick from that. They do the research for you. They find the vendors for you. They handle all of the details, and you get a guide, you get transportation, and you get the highlights of the port. So your second option is to book with a third party like Viator. Now, why book with a third party? Usually they're a little bit cheaper than the cruise line excursions, and you can get the same thing as what the cruise line offers. You will have to do a little more research with these ones because you'll want to look into the excursion highlights, wherever it's going. You'll want to look into the vendor and make sure that they're reputable. Check their reviews, either on Viator if you're booking through Viator, or look around on the internet for reviews of the company that you're going with. Like cruise line excursions, third-party excursions are pre-planned for you. Generally, you know what you're going to be doing, you know what you're getting, and you don't have to wander around and find a cab or anything like that. Usually. I had an excursion booked in Costa Maya last year, and unfortunately I wasn't able to go on it. It was canceled, but I was going to have to find a cab to get to the place where the excursion was. Last year, my husband and I went to Roatan, and we went with a third-party vendor, and what we had to do was walk through the entire port to get to the place where we were meeting up with the company, with our driver. We did a driving tour of Roatan, which was really cool. It was not as personalized as I wanted it to be. That's what I expected from a third-party excursion, was that a tour would be personalized to me and what I wanted to see specifically, and it wasn't quite. So that was unexpected. And your final option when you're in a cruise port is to have a freewheeling adventure and wander around the port. You can either stay in the port area, which is usually mostly shopping. If you're looking for souvenirs, that's a great place to get them. Some ports have free pools you can use. You can get something to eat. You can get a drink, whatever. Pretty much anything you want in a port, you can get it there. You can also research and find a place to go on your own via taxi or rental car. And that could be a really great option for you. My husband and I, last year, we went to Aruba and we ended up renting a Jeep and driving around the island of Aruba with a tour we found in the iTunes store. And it ended up being more expensive than the excursions that we had planned, but it was very personal. We got to go see the lighthouse. We got to see the North Shore with all the waves hitting the rocks, which was amazing. We got to go to the donkey sanctuary. So we got to do all these things that we wouldn't have gotten to do on an excursion on a big bus full of people. We got to do them on our own, at our own pace, take pictures without a ton of people in them. It was a really great option for us. Which of these appeals the most to you? Let me know in the comments. And while you're there, hit that like button. So what about accessibility? Well, cruise lines are really good about putting the accessibility information in the description for the excursion. So you'll see if it's wheelchair accessible, you'll see weight limits, you'll see what kind of or how much walking there will be. So what I mean by what kind of walking is, how much walking, but also, will it be walking on cobblestones? Will it be walking on paved paths? Will it be walking on rough terrain? That sort of thing. You'll know beforehand, so you'll know, what kind of shoes to wear. Am I going to be able to do this without twisting an ankle? Am I going to be able to do this at all? When you go on a third-party excursion or on your own, you'll need to look this stuff up on your own, research it, and find out for yourself. What else do you need to know about excursions? Well, first of all, always eat breakfast. You never know what kind of food they're going to serve you. Even if they say they're serving you lunch, you don't know what kind of lunch it's going to be. For example, my husband and I, on that Mayan pyramid excursion that we did last year, they said they served a bag lunch, which, okay, we're out in the middle of nowhere, and that's fine. Bag lunch is great. However, the sandwich that we got was literally one slice of ham, an American cheese slice on white bread. Then I think we had some chips and a little candy bar and some local snack things. It was not a very filling lunch, especially considering we were walking around in the heat, and could have used a little more food. So be sure you always eat breakfast before you leave the ship. That way you're full, and if it turns out that you get a tiny lunch or something that is not to your tastes, that at least you have something to go on. Second, always take water with you. The excursions will usually provide a bottle of water, especially if it's some kind of activity excursion. They generally provide water for you. But just in case, take your refillable water bottle or a single-use plastic bottle from a bar on board and have that with you for comfort, if for nothing else. Next, take cash, especially small bills, so you can tip your tour guide or your bus driver or anybody else involved in the excursion. And to go with that one, you may want to bring a little extra cash because there's usually going to be a shopping stop along the way somewhere. So if you want to buy souvenirs or something, then that's a great time to do it. You're going to be off the bus, you're going to be in a store or in an area with a lot of stalls from locals. So it's a great place to support the local economy. What do I do? Usually I book with a cruise line simply because it's easier and I know exactly what to expect when I book through the cruise line. I don't like surprises, honestly. I like to know what's going to happen and what will be going on during an excursion. So I either book with the cruise line. Only one time have I booked third party, and I would probably do that again in the future. I don't do the freewheeling adventure type very often. On our upcoming cruise in October, my husband and I will be going to Boston, and we have a free day in Boston. We don't have anything planned except going to the USS Constitution, which isn't offered on any excursions that I've seen. So we'll get a chance to explore and do our own thing while we're in Boston on a port day. Well, that's it as far as excursions go. Let me know if you have any additional questions down in the comments and I'll get back to you. Next, check out this video about what to take with you on a beach day off a ship. Thanks for watching. See you next time.